Hello friends. I was going through my stash in my closet because I'm trying to clean it out. So I'm trying to destash that closet and use up things that I have. I came across a box that had supplies to make faux feather Christmas trees. I made these in my antique shop when I had it and sold them, and people really liked them. It is my version of the German feather tree. And that's also known as Tinselbaum or goose feather tree. And it's a type of artificial Christmas tree that has its origins in Germany in the 19th century. My version, I use felt. So that is one of the things that you'll need. Any felt, just pick it up at your local craft store, but I have a ton because I used to make these. And what's fun is you can use different colors to your liking. So that's what's fun about this. I don't use wool because I don't have any wool, but the felt seems to work just fine. So that's one of the things you'll need. You'll need some floral tape. Just use what you have, or you can pick up some cheap at Joann's or Michael's with a coupon. Some stamens, like this. And I don't remember where I got these, but I'm pretty sure you can get them at again, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's maybe. When I first started out, I made my own by cutting some floral wire, and then I put a dab of hot glue on the end, let that dry, and then I painted them red. So that will work too. That's how you can make an easy stamen. The felt we already covered. You'll be cutting those in 1 1/4 inch strips. So you could go ahead and prepare and do that right away. A 12-inch dowel rod, which is 1/4 inch in diameter, is what I'm using. And here it is. And then I just sharpen the end with the pencil sharpener. A base, it could be a block of wood, and then you'll drill a hole in that if you use wood 1/4 inch. I'm using one of these light fixtures as my base. And then I just put some floral foam in there. You'll need some glue, and I'm just using fabric tack, but something that is of good quality. I'm not using hot glue only because I don't trust that the limbs would come apart. And some brown calico fabric cut in 1/2 inch strips. And this I've had in the stash because I used to make them, so I had this much left over. So it doesn't take a whole lot, but cut those in 1/2 inch strips. This will cover the trunk. So you'll need that. Let's get started making our faux German feather tree. I may have missed in the supplies needed the 18 gauge floral wire. And I have this. It's Ashland stem wire in 18 gauge. And again, I don't know if anyone in the area has it, but I'm sure you could get it on Amazon. And these are like 18 inches, but it can be any length because we're going to cut these down. And we'll start with that. We're going to need 4 each at 4 inch. So just measure 4 inch. And we'll need 4 of those. And you'll have one little piece left over, so you could probably use that in another project. Next, we're going to need 6 4 1/2 inch. Next, you'll need 6 each of 5-inch. My dream has always been to own an authentic German feather tree, but they are very pricey for the real thing. So I said, well, I can make one of those and be happy with that until the day comes that I can actually get one. Because as you're going to different antique shops and stuff, you may find a deal on one. So that is my dream, is to have a real one. All right, so I'm cutting the 6 5-inch. And then you'll need 3 5.5-inch. We have all of our stems cut, 4 4-inch, 6 4.5-inch, 6 5-inch, 3 5.5-inch. If you wanted your tree bigger, you could just get a longer dowel. Adjust to the size that you wanted, and then you would just add more and increase the sizes as you went along. But today we're just doing a 14-inch tree. Next, I'm going to add a stamen to each end of these as such, and I'll attach it using the floral tape. And I hope it's still good because it's old. And hopefully this will be good because it is kind of old. And you just wrap at an angle. And this just gives the felt something to hold on to when you glue it. I will wrap the rest of these and I will be right back. We have the stamens added and we've wrapped all of our pieces in floral wire. And now we're ready to add the fringed felt to each piece. And we're just going to cut this in 1 1/4 inch strips, and then we will snip them. I like to use my rag quilt scissors for this to do the snipping. And you're going to want to snip at 1/4 inch all the way on your strips. While cutting your fringe, you're cutting them 1/4 inch each, and then you're going to leave 1/4 inch at the top. That is for attaching the fringe to the stems. This is what the fringe should look like. And then what you're going to do is take your first stem, drop a bead of glue, and you'll just start turning it around, not to overlap, as such. So we'll take 1 drop of glue first. To get things started. Take your end and you'll just start right there, and then you're going to come down and hold that in place, and then you'll just put some glue along this edge down to the leave 1 inch, and 1 inch is about right there. So I'll have to remember that because I got glue all over. And you'll just start twirling, and you don't want to overlap. Just bring it down, down. And so you've got all your leaves there. And then what I'll do is I'll just measure 1 inch, and that's about right. And at that point, you're just going to take your scissors. I don't want to use those scissors. I use my old scissors. Make a cut. And there you have your first stem. All right, and then that should hold. And we'll just let these dry. But how cute. These trees will be perfect for, like, if you have a smaller home. If you have someone who is in assisted living, it will be perfect for that. And they can only have a small tree. So I'll go ahead and let that one dry, and I will start work on the next one. And you can see you don't need a whole lot of fringe. I have all of the fringe wrapped onto our stems, and look how pretty. And you can see the little stamen in there. So pretty. So now we're ready to put these on the dowel. And what you want to do is make your markings. This is 1.5 inches apart. So we're going to put our first one that has 4, which is a 4-inch at the top, as such. It'll be like this because 3 are going to go on the first row, but you want 1 for the top. But before we do that, we need to begin wrapping to that first mark with the floral wire. Excuse me, the floral tape. So I am going to begin wrapping right on that mark. And we want to get that top nice and covered. And you can tug on this floral tape and it will conform to the surface, if you will. Just cover that up. And then go back down to our line. Now we're going to add our very first, and it'll be our very first one will be right here. And we're going to tape that too. So next, this is our first line. We've got our top, and we're going to take the 3 that are 4-inch and tape one and just kind of eyeball it. I've got a band-aid on there, so that doesn't help. I've got to get down to that line. There we go. And just wrap. And then kind of see where that is. And we're going to evenly space the best you can. We're going to add that next one. Come back around and add that next one on the line. Like such. And I'm using a lot of tape here because I just want it to be secure. All right, let's look for our next line. Yep, that one ran out. So our next line is right here. So we're going to come down to that line. And luckily I have another package here. So we'll come down to that line. There we go. Tape that off. And we see that we place this one here. So our next 3, which are the four and a half inch, will go in between those. And this is kind of persnickety, but make sure it's in between. You almost need 2 hands, right? Okay, come back around. Whoops. Try this again. Maybe if I put that there, and try to do it that way. And then I see that my last 2 right here, there's a gap. We'll bring that one here. There we go, and then you can just twirl up and down till you get it covering the raw part of the stem. Oops. Lots of oops on this one. It's okay, because I'm just pulling tight. And then we'll just come back down to our line. And then go back up. And don't get tangled like I did. And then back down. Then we're going to go to our next mark, which is right here. And there's our line. And we can add our next 3, which are the 4.5 inch. And we'll go in between, we'll go where the gap is. And then we're looking for our next gap, and it's hard to see, but it's right here. I am not the best wrapper, right? Right there. Give that a couple turns. And our next gap was right here. So we'll put that stem under there on that line. And it looks like, whoops, this one came down a little. And that looks, yeah. There we go. And we're going to go up and cover all of those. And again, I pulled too hard. And then come back down. Back up. And back down.
Just continue this process and use up all the stems that you have.
And then I'll just go down and cover to our last mark, because we're just going to leave a little bit for our stand, but we want to cover that. And then all we have to do is add the calico strips to make it look like a trunk. All right, and just rip that off. We are getting there. I think it's pretty like that. I'll be back for the next step.
I have to apologize. I'm not sure what happened to the footage where I began wrapping the calico fabric. What you will want to do is you start at the bottom, 1 inch from the bottom, and your goal is to cover all of the floral tape with that calico brown fabric, and that will replicate a trunk. As you wrap a section, you start to pull down your branches, and then you continue wrapping the next section. So I hope that makes sense, but if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But yeah, look how pretty this is coming out. And you're going to wrap around each branch, basically weaving in and out, and then getting that floral tape covered. And you probably won't get it all covered, but you'll get it covered enough for that realistic feel. And then just continue the process, wrapping, pulling down branches, wrapping, weaving, pulling down branches until you get to the top, and then just glue it off. I just love how this turned out. It brings back memories of my antique shop. Look at that trunk. And there's where I used the light fixture for the base. And I just added some floral moss on top of that. And look at the red stamens. And the best part is you could make different colored trees. How about a white tree, a pink tree, or any color, whatever color felt comes in. The possibilities are endless. And here I added some antique ornaments. These are from my husband's grandma. I just grabbed these real quick, but look how beautiful. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that you'll make one of these trees. And until the next video, God bless. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell so that you never miss a video. And if you're returning, thank you so much. And if you have found value in this video, please like and comment.